All right, good afternoon, everyone. Calling the meeting to order here. We'll start out with the roll call. Commissioner Baskerville, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Commissioner Rourke, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
And I'm Commissioner Murray. We're all three of us are here and accounted for, so we're good to go. We'll start out with our public comment session. We have 3 minutes for any members of the public who want to make comments. Is there anyone today who would like to do that?
I don't have anybody signed up. Let me double check online.
Okay.
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, with no public comments, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Darcy and Barbara, did you guys have a chance to review those?
I did. I moved, be approved.
Second.
Okay, those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say nay. By unanimous approval, the minutes are approved. The next order of business is to review the submitted complaint. We have one outstanding today. That's number 2024-09. So we will now move into executive session under RCW 42.30.110(1)F for 15 minutes with possible action after.
And did we get a separate invitation for the executive session?
Believe we did.
Okay. I'll look.
Yes, Darcy, you should have that. I forwarded one to you yesterday.
Okay. Oh, yesterday? Oh, okay. All right. I'll look. Thanks.
And
Thank you.
forgotten, do I just X out of this one or do I leave this one running?
I would leave this one, Barbara, and
Okay.
then join the other. Okay.
All right.
See you on the other side.
Thanks.
Looks like we have. All right, it's 2:49 now. It looks like everyone is back. Barbara, I'm not sure if this matters at this point, but I show you as muted still. There we go.
Okay.
All right, so we're back from our executive session. We're now considering complaint number 2024-09. This complaint was filed by Carrie Lynn Jacobs against Tara Engvall, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering anybody's names there. This complaint argues that Ms. Engvall filed baseless complaints against the complainant to the county. It also alleges that Ms. Engvall made statements regarding her influence as a member of the Animal Control Advisory Board and provided personal information about the complainant to a group that she's involved in. The complainant alleges that Ms. Engvall's actions have harmed her, her nonprofit, and her personal employment. So as we've said in previous meetings, we determined one of two things after our initial review of ethics complaints: either that the allegations in the complaint do not constitute an ethics violation, or that there is sufficient cause to warrant an investigation. We've previously observed that sufficient cause exists in this context when a reasonable person with knowledge of all the facts set forth in the complaint would conclude that the complaint describes conduct that may violate one or more ethical rules. The ethical rules that we consider are those adopted in Clark County Code section 2.07010. Those are specifically Title 42 of the Revised Code of Washington, also called the RCWs, and Clark County Human Resources Policy 13.1. Those are both readily available online, including on this commission's webpage. So when an ethics complaint does not identify a specific and applicable ethics rule that a county elected official, appointed committee or advisory board member, or a county employee allegedly violated, the best we can do is to compare the conduct that's described in the complaint against the applicable rules ourselves. And in doing that, we try to determine whether any applicable ethics rule may prohibit the alleged conduct. This complaint does not specify where the allegedly baseless complaint was filed or were filed, but wherever they were filed, that tribunal must be the one that decides whether they are baseless. I did not find an ethical rule that prohibits statements about one's influence as a county official. I note that RCW 42.23.0704 does prohibit disclosure of confidential information gained by reason of the officer's position. However, personal information is not necessarily confidential information, and the complaint does not specify whether the information allegedly disclosed was confidential or whether Ms. Engvall gained it by reason of her position. Therefore, I must vote today that the allegations in the complaint do not constitute an ethics violation. And I again encourage all complainants to review the ethical rules before filing a complaint. And whenever possible, please try to tell us about specific conduct and which specific rule or rules you believe it violates. Do either of the other commissioners want to discuss this complaint further?
I agree with Commissioner Murray. I believe there was insufficient information to lead us in the direction of it being an ethics violation. So I would also say that they do not constitute an ethics violation.
I agree that there was nothing specific enough for to understand exactly what the complaint was or what the actions that were alleged actually were. So I could not. I find nothing that would constitute an ethics violation.
Okay, is there a motion for how we ought to rule on this complaint?
I move that the allegations presented do not represent or present an ethics violation that we can proceed on, and that therefore it be denied.
I second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. Okay, so we've unanimously voted that the allegations in the complaint do not constitute an ethics violation. That is the only complaint we have to deal with today. So the next is for the good of the order. And I actually have a couple things for the good of the order today. I wondered if on our website where we list the ethics rules that we consider, and thank you, by the way, to the folks at the county who got those up on the website. But I wonder, since the code applies all of RCW Title 42, I wonder if we could get that on there too, a link that would take someone to the index page for that whole title instead of just I think right now we just link to 42.23.070.
I think that's a good idea. That'd be helpful.
Adam, I'm sure that I can work with Rebecca to make sure that that is updated accordingly. Okay,
great. Thank you. And then the other thing I wondered was, so we have a complaint that's in the investigation procedure now. Is there any update on how that's going or the timing, or whether we'll consider that in the next meeting?
Yes. So I will tell you, Adam, that the investigation is ongoing and I do not have a timeline today to provide you, but
Okay.
hopefully sooner than later.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. Anything else for the good of the order?
Yes. Could I jump in here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This is a really good time to mention this. There is in your business process a provision. It's 4C ethics complaint process, and it's also 5C ethics complaint process, one for elected officials and advisory board members and the other for employees. They both have pretty much the same wording. It says within 15 business days of receiving a complaint, the HR director will provide an overview of the complaint and initial determination memo to the commission in executive session in accordance with RCW 42.30.110, which is just the OPMA provision regarding executive decision or executive sessions. So the problem here is that I believe that you all adopted this, well, I know you did, before we actually had processed a number of these complaints. And I think what we're finding is that the 15 business days is just not super practicable. Sometimes the complainant doesn't leave a whole lot of information about how to get hold of them, or how, what their address is or their email address. So it's very difficult for the HR director to provide an overview of the complaint and the initial determination memo to the complainant. It's difficult to get additional details if any are forthcoming. And sometimes, it's as simple as somebody might be away on vacation for 5 of those 15 days. It's just not working well. And my suggestion would be that this get turned over to staff for us to figure out what a more practical time frame might be, and then put on the agenda of your next meeting. Perhaps we could suggest an amendment to that provision that, at this point, I'm concerned that if things are not happening on a timely basis according to the business process, that could lead to issues like ethics complaints or something. So I would like to suggest that that's a possibility, and ask if you all would be interested in having us make such an effort.
I would be.
I would be as well. I'm wondering though, if the 15 days didn't refer to when we initially saw the complaint.
It says within 15 business days of receiving a complaint.
Right.
And to me, that's fairly clear.
But we did, there was an overview of the complaint and an initial determination memo. Didn't that happen?
I think what's happening is we're getting the initial determination memo at the next meeting.
You're getting it. This says you'll provide it to the commission in executive session.
Right.
That, to me, indicates that executive session should occur within that 15 days, which I think is not realistic. I mean, how do we know that you all will be able to meet within 15 days to have an executive session?
I agree. I think it would be great if staff would come up with a solution.
And as long as the solution, I just want to make sure that the commissioners still get the complaint as early in the process as possible.
Right.
so that we have time to kind of look at it and do our own consideration before we meet.
So perhaps there should be two timeframes, one for receipt of the complaint and one for a second one for the initial determination memo in executive session.
Yeah, and I think that's already provided for in 4A. I think it says that when the complaint is received, the following steps will be taken,
Well,
which maybe there's a little bit more. It includes a complaint memorandum, but
yeah, and I don't see, there's no time frame exactly. I mean, it says when it's received. That's pretty vague. It might mean instantly, but I hope not. And again, an issue there is the memorandum is supposed to go to the individual about whom the complaint was made. If they don't provide their contact information and it takes a week or two to get that, it's pretty darn hard to comply with that. So perhaps that one needs to be adjusted as well.
yeah. And that's fine. I think you guys understand what our concerns are, and we trust you guys to suggest some edits that will make sense for everybody. So let's do it.
Okay, we will work on that and get back to you.
Okay.
All righty. Anything else for the good of the order?
Nothing.
Nope.
All right, so it looks like our next meeting is towards the middle, late November. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here and for all your help getting this off the ground, the commissioners and staff included. I think we have it running pretty smoothly now, and I really appreciate all the effort that you guys have put into it.
That's good.
All right, if there's nothing else, then we can adjourn.
Very good.
Very good. Thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
right, meeting adjourned.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.